How you are collecting the lube oil sample? You are always collecting the lube oil sample from a running machinery. Please understand that lube oil must be in circulation. If my main engine is in stopped condition, I should not collect a sample from a stopped system. Lube oil system is stopped. Uska pump ko drain karke, uska filter ko drain karke lube oil sump se collect karna. That is the wrong way of collection of sample. It must be collected from a running system so that it is a representation of the entire blood or entire lube oil. As you know, then only it will give me the correct results after testing. Sample must be put to various tests. Some of the tests can be done on board and they are done monthly basis. Some of the tests are done in the laboratory. Condition or health of the lube oil as well as the machinery. Both the conditions are determined, and you will come to know some additional things also when you test it. Sometimes some surprising revelations may be there when you get the report. We'll talk about that later. The purpose is to find out not only the property deterioration of the lube oil. First thing कैसा है, lube oil का property deteriorate हुआ है कि नहीं. तो आपका blood कभी deteriorate नहीं होता है. God has given you the blood for lifetime. उसमें blood में deterioration होता रहता है. उसके RBCs, WBCs, they get killed, they die, and new ones are formed by the liver, spleen, and all. So they are forming new ones and all. But lube oil is a non-living thing, right? Engine is a non-living thing. वहाँ पे तो अगर आपका lube oil property is getting deteriorated, you as a human being, you have to monitor as a part of the condition monitoring, and you have to keep replenishing it with new oil. That's the only way you can replenish. That's the only way you can ensure that the lube oil properties are up to the mark. They are remaining up to the mark. Okay, so that's how lube oil property deterioration is monitored. Additive depletion is another very important thing, because lube oil, the base oil is not the entire everything. You know that you have the additives. Over a period of time, the detergency gets reduced, the dispersency gets reduced, the alkalinity gets reduced. All such things, they are found out during the testing. Wear. If the wear is taking place, the metal wear particles will be washed away by the lube oil, and you'll find if, say, bearing is wearing out, you'll find white metal particles. If the liner is wearing out, you'll find a lot of iron particles. Like this, what type of metal wear particles is found in the lube oil and how much quantity is there? That will tell you two things. One, which component probably is wearing out, and second, what is the rate of wear of that component. Fourth, contaminants. You will have the lube oil which is getting, the lube oil is getting, the lube oil is getting continuously cooled in the cooler. So one source of contamination is the leaking cooler tubes. I mean, that is, I will not say very common, it doesn't happen very commonly, but it's a very highly likely or probable cause source. Apart from that, you can have condensation in the lube oil sump because of the temperature fluctuation. You may have some bad housekeeping practices. You can have, while you are putting the oil into the system, some oil, some debris, you can mix it with some old oil, some dirt may go into the system because of the dirty atmosphere and so on. Many contaminants can come into the system. Fuel oil can go as a contaminant. The soot, because of unburned product of combustions, blow past taking place, that can go and find its way into the lube oil, and so on and so forth. So contaminants can find their way into the lube oil, and they can degrade the property of lube oil, the quality of lube oil. Significance we have already discussed. You are finding out the condition of lube oil, as well as you are finding the condition or health of the machinery, both. So it's you are actually, with one sword, you are actually attacking two things. So you have lube oil also getting monitored and the machinery also getting monitored. Effectiveness of lubrication. Lube oil ke bajaye, I will modify it as lubrication effectiveness. If whether or not my lube oil and its lubricating properties and its effect of its additives is effective enough or not. If my lube oil has become rendered ineffective, too much of contaminants have come in, too much of fuel oil has come in, too much of soot has come in, the alkalinity has been lost and all, then you will find it is becoming ineffective and wear and tear increases. Lube oil, third point, lube oil useful life. Useful life. So abhi kitna useful life bacha hua lube oil? Can I reuse it? Can I continue to use it? Can I top it up with the fresh oil and then continue to use it? Can I renew, or should I renew the oil completely? Because if once the oil properties they degrade too much, and with adding a small amount of top up oil, it really doesn't help. That time the renewal has to be done. The lube oil has to be completely renewed. Okay. Then we have, if at all topping is required, I've already covered that. Machinery performance monitoring. In some cases, I'll come to know if my piston rings are sealing properly or not. How good is my combustion taking place? If my combustion is improper, I'll find a lot of carbon and soot particles coming and getting mixed with the oil. Oil is becoming dirty very soon. So to some extent, I come to know that how well is my machinery performing. And lube oil system integrity and hygiene. If I am finding lube oil, if I'm finding water in the system, integrity is lost somewhere, or water is leaking into the system. If I'm finding too much of sand or dust particles and all, probably hygiene is not being maintained, the housekeeping is not maintained properly. So like this, you'll come to know many things. And that's why it is significant that we must be doing this kind of testing. What is the test frequency? When we do the onboard test, we are doing the testing every month, once every month, but you may be selling on one of the companies where they say, every week you need to test main engine and auxiliary engine and all, every 15 days you'll have to do. So it will vary from company to company. Various companies, they make their own policy depending on various reasons. This action is based on various feedbacks or various experiences, various reasons and all. Generally, you'll find that once it is done every month when you are testing it on board. I'll talk a little bit about the onboard testing in the next slide, next class most likely. I should come to that, or next to next class. So what are we testing on board? We are normally testing lube oil samples taken from main engine, from auxiliary engine, and from stern tube lube oil. We collect these samples, and every month we test these samples on board. What are we testing for? That we'll cover later. Laboratory test. If we have to test for main engine, auxiliary engine, and stern tube lube oil, we'll send it every 3 months, once every 3 months to the laboratory for testing. But for all other machineries, like you have the hydraulic machinery, steering gear, mooring winch system, you have purifier, gear case, you have the compressor oil, and so on. All the oils which are there, big list of oils that will be sent once every 6 months for testing to the show-based laboratory. And when we are testing, sending all months, you are getting these things tested. Okay. Scope of onboard test is viscosity, TBN value. Okay. And then we have water percentage. Again, is water percentage. There is a kit which is there, TBN value and water percentage. दोनों का एक portable kit, portable this equipment comes, using which you can do that. Insoluble and dispersancy, I'll talk. So I'll talk about some of these tests later. Okay, right now I'll end my class. You have any